Welcome to the Grit for Life, the Director's Workshop. This is day one of week 4. This is the very last week of this workshop. We have taken a look at so many different powerful steps that you could take over the last 3 weeks, now heading into week 4, about you being the director of the movie of your life. We have taken a look from the very beginning, from the moment that you picked up the screenplay to your life, all the way from auditioning for the supporting cast to finding the right location, ensuring that you have the proper camera perspectives, and paying attention to the soundtrack of your life. And even the understanding that as a director, at any time, you can push pause and take a look at where you're at. Walk through the set. Go back and storyboard. Do what you need to do as the director and to enable you to produce the most effective, powerful movie of your life for the big screen of your time here on this planet. Today, what I want to talk about is what happens when you get the filming done. The filming is done, and in essence, in our life, we really don't ever stop filming. But I want you to kind of think of it as a mini-series. So you've had several portions of your mini-series of this movie, or even the first segment, and you're going to do sequels, filmed, auditioned, storyboard, written out, changed around, hit pause, right location, all of these things. And now's the time for you as the director to understand the power of the editing room. I remember a time in my life where I had gone through some really rough times of making some really bad decisions. And I can't change the fact that that is part of my filming. That's part of who I am. It's part of the day-to-day aspect of being on the movie lot of my life. The beautiful thing about it is that I have the opportunity to leave some of those segments on the cutting room floor. Don't be afraid to look back over the span of your life's movie so far that has been filmed. Take a look at it and understand that each of those segments, good or bad, have helped define what you and this movie is about. It's helped define you as a director. You've learned what camera perspectives not to use, what camera perspectives to use. You have learned the importance of making sure that you have the right supporting cast, and sometimes you had to let people go. Maybe you're in the process of that right now. As a director, you've had growth throughout your life, whether you realized you were the director at the time or not. But now you have all this film footage. Over and over, I see people who constantly look back and rewind and watch, rewind and watch, rewind and watch. And they don't like what they see. But they keep rewinding it, and they keep looking at it, and they keep reliving it. They keep reliving their past. They keep reliving their mistakes. They keep reliving their failures. And what they don't realize is that in each of those segments, there's a large portion of that needs to just be edited out. There's a large portion that needs to be saved. Those moments that need to be saved are the moments that we can take a look at and realize that we were making personal growth during that time, whether we realized it or not. It's that time where you had that bad relationship and you look back and you are just shattered on what happened at the end of that relationship. Do we edit that out? Do we cut it all away? No. What we do is we realize that in that moment, I'm not going to continue to replay it because I don't have time. This movie needs to be produced. But what I am going to do is look at that film. I'm going to find the segments in there that were good. Those segments in there that I did learn something about myself. Those segments that even if I made a mistake, I was able to make a better movie moving forward. And it ties in to what I'm doing today. Those are the segments I'm going to keep. Then there's those things where maybe we had an supporting actor that we don't have anymore in our life. And so to put them into our full-length movie would be weird because they're not at the end of it. But maybe a segment of that story. Maybe that segment of the conflict. Maybe that segment of personal building needs to be in there. Only you as the director can determine that, but don't be afraid to start cutting that film down. You can't keep all of it, nor do you need to keep all of it. So many times I know that in my life and in my head, I kept replaying things over and over and over, and I never got past them, and I never moved on to the next segment of my movie. And I would just demoralize my self-esteem by pointing out the things that I had continuously done wrong. The wrong camera angles, the wrong script, the wrong perspective, maybe even the wrong soundtrack. It wasn't until the moment of my life that I realized that, yes, that's part of the filming, but it doesn't mean it has to be in the final product. It doesn't have to finally make it to the full screen. I know people who have this tendency to overshare things in their life. And I ask you to hold back a little bit on that. Understand that not everybody will understand your movie. And so that means that not everybody needs to know all the bloopers or the wrong camera angles. All they need to do is see the finished product. Now, those who you choose to be your film crew and your film production, yes, absolutely. They will know and they will see, but they're the ones who are clearly invested in the whole project, just as you should be as a director. So what I want you to do is a few steps for me. I want you, as I am talking, as I have been talking in this video, I would imagine there are times in your life that have been triggered. I want you to think about those moments right now. These are moments that you know that you have played over and over and over. Maybe it's an argument that you had with a parent that didn't go well. Maybe it was the just demoralization of somebody in your life at you. Maybe it was the time that you weren't just the best parent. Okay, we have that moment right now. That's the film strip that we're looking at. That's the raw footage. Now, let's dress it up. Let's cut it down. Let's dress it up. And let's make it something worth the final production. So how do we do that? There was a time in my life where I could have been a better father. And for the longest time, that ate at me. And I would replay it over and over and over. What it did, though, is it made me stay in that period of my filming and never let me move on to learn from it. So I'm going to use my own personal illustration that I hope will help you in your moment that you're looking at, your film strip that you're taking a look at right now. So what I had to do is I had to be honest. The film was already done. Scene had already been, action had been called, cut had been called. It's on film. And as they say, if it's on film, if there's pictures of it, if it was done out there and caught on camera, it's always out there. So I had to take a look at it and I had to go back and say, okay, I'm not moving forward. So how do I move forward? What I need to do is take a look at what's holding me where I'm at right now. So as a father, I took a look and said, okay, so here are the elements that I could have done better. And in essence, different perspective, different location. The soundtrack could have been just a little bit different. But in those moments, there were some good times. There were some times that I stepped fully up to the plate and swung as hard as I could, and I hit that home run. That ball soared out of the park. Those are the moments that I want to keep. The moments where I wasn't the best dad, and I could have done better, I need to take a look at, but not let it keep me here. So why am I taking a look at it? I'm going to take a look at it and go, okay, let's break this scene down right here, right now. So I take a look at the scene that's playing through my mind and I go, how I could have done it better, different perspective, different camera angle, is I could have done this or I could have done that. Then, as a father, I would have done better. This would have been a better scene worth my movie. I don't beat myself up for it. I don't tear myself down and just tell myself I'm a horrible director. No, I learn from my mistakes. I learn from the bloopers. Then what I do is slice it. I say, okay, done. I can't go back and change that scene. It's already been filmed. What I can do is reshoot it. That's the beauty of the editing floor. We can see how it happened. We can prepare ourselves for how it should have happened. And then we can go back and shoot it again. No, it may not be exactly the same weather as before, may not be the same exact location as before, but it is the essence of the movie spirit and the power that we are trying to get that can be done with learning from the bad and producing something good. So I challenge you today. That's what I want you to do. I want you to think about that moment as I was talking, that moment in your life. For those who are doing the workshop, I want you to write this down in your journal. I want you to rethink of that time or times, and I want you to think of it as if you were sitting inside an editing room and you're watching, you're pulling the tape or you're watching the digital video of it, and you realize that you can slice this up. But be careful. Find the value in some of the things that you thought were wrong, because they might have been, but they might still have value in determining who you are today. But don't go back and relive them continuously, because if you continuously do that, you'll never get out of the editing room, and you'll never get that video or your life movie to the big screen for everybody to see. Instead, what you will do is you'll close yourself up, you'll put a no disturb sign, and you will become old and miserable in a dark editing room where nothing in reality is getting edited, nor is anything else new getting filmed. Your response is your responsibility. Now, you go grit it.